Hello everybody and welcome back once again to QuipScope. It's the show where we talk about a brand new game that has just come out or is coming out very soon. My name is Peter.
And my name is Ben.
Oh, hello Ben.
Yeah, what do you think of that? I copied your inflection.
You did. That was, cheeky, really. Very rude to do that.
Well, we know each other, so I think it's fine.
I suppose. Ben, what have you been playing?
I have been playing Miitopia.
Ooh, wonderful.
Do you want to know what it is?
I want to know all about it.
So Miitopia is the newest game from Nintendo. Now, I don't know if you've heard of Nintendo. They've got this console called the Switch, and you can play it on the go and at home.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
That's it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, everyone. Yeah, so Miitopia basically, Peter, is an RPG, but sort of super duper accessible in that you don't wander around an open world. There are various sort of settlements that you come across, but so far my experience with those is they're pretty much side-scrolling with a little bit of depth, into the background and foreground, and that's sort of it. And when you're making your way between locations from sort of your overview map, it just shows your RPG party just walking to the right, and they'll be chatting about inane stuff. You'll have random encounters with enemies, which you will fight in a very extremely accessible turn-based combat system. Each of your party members has jobs that they can assign in classic RPG style, or JRPG style, I should say, where, you can be a warrior, you can be the magic person, you can be the equivalent of a bard that they've called pop star, and they will all have unique skills and stats to go with that, and their attire will change appropriately. But the real hook of what makes Miitopia so interesting and fun is that it's all, as the name suggests, it's all revolves around your own customizable Miis, and every single character in the game can be, if you have the patience to design that many characters, can be someone of your own design. So my protagonist, as people will be seeing, is our own Billy Ray Walrus. And
wonderful.
And it's fun because there's no voice acting, and there's sort of like noises while you're playing and things are being read out. It definitely elevates the experience to have Billy Ray, the pop star, because that was the job that you can obviously assign to him. Running around in his fedora and pop star clothes and holding a microphone, and then coming across the dark evil Lord Rules boss, who then descends from the heavens. The gist here, Peter, is that the Dark Lord has stolen the faces of Miitopia's residents.
No, not the faces.
All the
that's my
custom
favourite
faces.
part.
Exactly, all the custom faces. In the first town, I had my face stolen, and you had your face stolen as well, because we were, of course, residents of the town. Barbara was the mayor, who was trying to advise little Billy Ray as he was making his way through the town. And the faces get taken from the residents and they get slapped onto monsters. And so it's your job to, as you make your way through, defeat the monsters and return the faces to the people that to whom they belong. And I didn't create too many Miis just because, of time constraints. So a lot of the characters I just sort of kept default. But when it came time to add another party member to Billy Ray's adventuring party, I just reassigned Babs. So you can reassign different people. They, once you create a Mii and have them assigned to a character, you can then reassign them, and it will just say, "Are you sure this person's already assigned? Would you like to, put them on somebody else's body instead?"
Right.
So that's perfectly fine. From a creation standpoint, in terms of Miis, it is far more advanced than you remember it being on the Wii, for example, back in the day. So you can do a lot more with it. You can now wear wigs, so there's all sorts of different hairstyles that you have access to. And there's a very, very in-depth makeup area too. Now, a lot of people might think, makeup? Why would I need that for my boy character? Well, firstly, don't be a prude. Boys can and do wear makeup, and they look great. But also, it very much acts as a sort of in-depth character creation suite, in that you can use shapes and different, well, just straight up different pictures if you want, but certainly shapes and tile things on top of each other to really customize and create whatever you want. So for Billy Ray's haunting visage, that was just a load. I gave him sort of purple foundation, so he was purple.
Yeah.
And then just used various shapes and tinted them different colors in order to sort of give him his unique fur and tusks and so on. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot you can do with it, and you can really get quite in depth and create some interesting things. And if you have the patience to create a custom me for every single one of the inhabitants of this game, it really makes it feel very personalized. Like, oh, look, it's my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Peter's had his face nicked. Oh, damn it. And when you're assigning the various me's to their roles, it tells you, this character's quite surly, or easygoing. This me is such and such. So you can sort of try and assign the correct person that you feel would be appropriate for that. Largely, this game certainly does seem to strike me as being quite RNG heavy, not in terms of your success or, the order in which you will be doing things. Certainly there are plot beats that you will be hitting as you go along, trying to thwart the evil Dark Lord's plans. But certainly there are different, things that your characters will be nattering on about as you make your way down the road. At one point, Barbara stopped them mid-adventure, and they just shared a banana that one of them had found on the road. And they grew a little bit closer as allies, and you have sort of a heart that fills up, and the closer you get, the more sort of compatible you are in battle, the more power you can wield, if you will. And there's also inns that you come across on the road, and depending on who you've got in your party, you can assign them to like different rooms in the inn, or you can assign them to the same room. And if they stay in the same room, then they get a little bit closer. Not in like a romantic way, just in a sort of like, we're good mates and we're traveling down the road together.
We stayed up all night just chatting about our favourite pop stars and stuff.
Exactly. Why Billy's such a great pop star.
Yeah.
And there's lots of little details that I really enjoy. So when they are staying in the same room, it shows a little animation of them going to sleep. And Billy Ray was in a very small bed because he's a small character, and Barbara was in a massive bed because she's really tall. And lots of stuff like that. And you can also do different things from the inn, like the Miis that you've got with you in your party will have different desires. So sometimes they want to eat something, but depending on what you've got, they may not like it. And if they do like it, it will increase their stats. And if they don't like it, it won't increase their stats as much. Sometimes they want to buy something. So I gave Barbara some money, and she went and bought herself some new armor. But the warning did say that sometimes the Miis will get distracted and come back with something else instead. So there's lots of little things that will happen while you're out and about, and the things that they will talk about as they go, particularly as you can, with party members at least, because they're not filling a role that's sort of written for them as a character. You can assign them a sort of a statistic, not statistic, sort of like an attribute about their personality. So I think I made Barbara like proud or something like that. She's quite abrasive, basically, and so Billy will be nattering on, and she'll just sort of be ignoring him and telling him to be quiet and stuff. And it
like
just
Sims.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of it will be sort of your own projections of how you feel like these Miis should interact, and that you get a lot of enjoyment out of that, of thinking, oh yeah, that does seem like something that Billy Ray would say, and so on, which is really good fun. It is, as I said, extremely simple, especially in the combat department, because I couldn't work out a way to change it, and there may not be a way to change it, but certainly the only character I could control was Billy. Barbara, who presumably has her own set of attacks and skills and stuff that she can use, I was never able to actually control her or tell her what to do, which is fine, but again, it's that sort of streamlining of the experience to really make this accessible to everyone. And I think that is Miitopia's greatest strength, in that it really is just sort of an experience you can switch your brain off and enjoy, and have a nice time with, but at the same time, don't look for deep RPG mechanics or anything like that here. It's just a very whimsical adventure where you can make your friends the stars of the show, and your mileage may vary. because it reminds me a lot of, I think there was an Ape Escape RPG on PSP, and I played a lot of that. But after you started encountering the same sort of random events over and over again, it started to wear thin. So while I'm sure there is, there's clearly a proper narrative here in that you want to thwart the evil Dark Lord, in our case, Rules Boss, the stuff that you encounter along the way may start to become a little samey, and the magic may start to wear off a bit. But certainly from what I played, there's a lot to do there, and I think everyone can just, it's the magic of Nintendo. I think everyone can really find something to enjoy about this, even if it is you just putting all your mates into the game and then, just seeing what they get up to and thinking, classic Peter.
I like it. Sounds good. Yeah. And I guess the only other question, those who are watching on YouTube will already have seen 10 minutes of footage now, but visually speaking, I imagine, of course, it's going to be simple because it's in that Mii style, but I've found with kind of current gen consoles, even when it comes down to quote unquote simple games like that, they can actually look very pretty and very, like Crash Bandicoot looked good. I know that's actually last gen, but it's been since been redone. And things like Sackboy, games like that could have gotten away with being probably less good looking than they actually turned out to be. So how is it? Is it really polished and pretty in that sense?
Yeah, so as I said, because it's not an open world game, they don't have a lot they need to work with. But certainly, presented as almost like, if you imagine it sort of like a theatre production from one fixed camera angle, it is pretty. The backgrounds are varied, and when there's sort of cinematic event, they're not cinematic events, but you know what I mean, like conversations or story happenings, the Miis will react appropriately. They'll have shocked and surprised faces, or no faces if their face has been taken by the evil Dark Lord. But it's a really good looking game. It's very crisp. The menus are nice. There's lots of variety in how it's presented. Like when you go into the inn, there's an animation that just shows the silhouette of two or however many people you got with you, just two Miis running in, and it's not the specific silhouette of your Miis. It's just an animation that's been created, and that's quite nice. And there's a lot like that. There's a lot of sort of flashy stuff in there to make things look nice, and the menus are good, and they're crisp and easy. I've said crisp already. Everything's crisp. The menus are very easy to navigate. It's just, I suppose, the last time I used Miis would have been on the Wii when it was, a little blurrier. And perhaps not quite as high a resolution as it is now. So there is a huge difference. It looks a lot better now. And one thing I should say is that if you have on your Switch created a Mii for your account, that too can be imported as well as the ones you create in the game. So, so I created some in the demo, and those are all importable. And I was a bit thrown because I was trying to import Miis from the Switch console to assign a role to, and it was only showing like me, as in Ben. And I was like, that's weird. I thought I created more people than that, but it turned out that was the one that was already on the Switch. So you can do that, and if you have Switch Online, you can also download other people's Miis, and you can upload Miis. So if you want to stock your world with John Rambo, then you can probably. So all sorts of stuff you can do in that game. It's fun. Your mileage may vary, but certainly it's very accessible for anyone who wants to give it a go.
Fantastic. Well, Miitopia, more like Weetopia.
Oh,
because that's what you shout while you're playing it. You're just like, "Wee! I'm having so much fun."
That's good. That's a good one. Miitopia, more like Miitopiary, because there's green stuff in it.
Oh, good. Well, rightly so.
There you go. That was a good one, wasn't it?
It was.
No top in that.
What?
There's no top in that.
Oh, there's no top in that. I thought you said there's no top in there. What?
There's no top in there.
In where? What top? Why is...
Hello?
Put something on. Right, that's the end. Thank you very much for watching another episode of QuipScope or listening on our podcast feed. There's footage available over on the YouTube version if you want to go and look at that. But thank you, everybody.
Certainly is. Catch you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.